Gutho has been dethroned. Gutho has been dethroned as the captain of the Parramatta Eels. Can you give us some information on this, Buzz?
Well, there's a major overhaul about to be undertaken at the Eels with Jason Ryles coming in, who has already announced that Trent Barrett is moving on as an assistant coach and he's going to start fresh with his own guys. I spoke to him last night, not sure who it's going to be. But with Gutherson, he wouldn't talk to me about Clint Gutherson, but the manner in which Mitchell Moses has grown this year in the State of Origin arena, when you think about it, the New South Wales captain, Jake, went off after 20 minutes in both games. He ran the football side, Mitch. And there was a feeling at Parramatta, while a decision has not been made, not just a new coach, let's give Mitchell Moses the reins. Now, Gutho has been there since 2018, took over from Timmy Manor, right? Tried his heart out every single time. But I think they do have leadership issues, and I think you'll see Mitchell Moses with the C next week.
Yeah, I think Gutho's been fantastic for him. Like, when you've watched Parramatta in the past, but he's just... The sad part is he's lost his speed. He's lost that punch. You know, like Gutho is a high energy, super fit, was always bouncing around a bit like a Pappenhausen style of player, Tedesco-like. But to me, it's like he's aged really quick.
It just makes sense. It's time.
Doesn't come without a little bit of risk factor, though, because he's been the captain for a long time. He's highly popular amongst the playing group. Yes, he's only got 12 months to go, but we've seen many players over the years, Braith, where coaches decide that they're going to go in a different direction with captains, and sometimes it can put noses out of joint.
There's no doubt about that, Hoos, but there just becomes a time when, I suppose, a boy becomes a man, and Moses in this Origin series has turned into a man. He's turning into the man. So with more responsibility, Mitch then owns the team, and you could see that in Origin that brought the best out of him. And there's just a time where, unfortunately, you got to make decisions, and with a new coach coming in and heading in a new direction, you would think this is, I think, a good call. No disrespect to Gutho, he's done a great job, but I don't see it as a big deal.
Gutho's no certainty to play fullback next year. You know, he might move to the centres.
But he's
29 years of age.
And I think that's the part where Gutho's been really good, because even a month ago he goes, no, I'm happy to do whatever the team needs me to do. So I think he's mature enough that he doesn't need the C beside his name.
You mentioned Barrett there, Buzz. So Ryles, he's not going to keep Trent Barrett on there at the club?
No, he's not.
Who's he going to bring in?
And I feel a bit sorry for Baz. I was talking to someone at Parramatta today. Mitchell Moses had surgery today. They've got 40% of their cap out, so he's really battling away under strength. I don't know who he's going to bring in. He's done a deal with Melbourne Storm where he won't try and poach any of their coaches, Hoops. I'm not sure who's around, or, does he bring someone home from England? But Ryles will get it right. But
you would think his connection from the St George Illawarra, so you'd be Young and Ben Hornby, wouldn't you?
Well, but Dean Young is signed with the Dragons for next year. It's a good point, and Hornby's signed with Souths and will want to continue his development under
Is it
Wayne
Mary
Bennett,
McGregor? I don't know.
I'll tell you what, it's just impossible to understate the magnitude of the job that Jason Ryles is walking into. Personally, given the situation at that club at the moment, with the roster the way that it is, the way that some of the big-name players are on huge money deals, I think there's an element of a poison chalice there. They can't really do anything in the market until 2026. They're trying to shop players like Bryce Cartwright, Sean Lane, Ryan Madison, but who are they going to replace them with? Because there's not that much out there at the moment. So, look, I wish Rylesy all the best. I really hope that he has success there, but it's a big, big job.
I mentioned too last week, Mitch Moses has got clauses in his contract.
Yeah.
Is that right? Can you talk about, because we know the other clauses.
Yeah, no, this is
but there's more with the key playmaker in Mitch.
Yep, so this is another ridiculous deal that Eels management have ticked off on. So last year they trumpeted the fact that Mitchell had agreed to a 5-year extension with the club. It's not a 5-year extension, it's a 3-year extension for 2027 and 2028. He has player options in his favour, which means that the bloke who was just one of the best for New South Wales in the State of Origin series, if things all do turn pear-shaped at Parramatta and it isn't going well and they're not playing in the finals, well, if he wants to, he can get out.
Yeah, can I suggest here that I think Parramatta need a wider clear-out? and we got a new coach come in. We look like we're going to get a new captain. What about a football manager, Hoops? Who is allowing these outrageous contracts to be signed?
Well, Mark O'Neill's the general manager of football there, and I think
their chairman keeps telling me he's the Frank Panisi of the West, which is ridiculous.
I like Buckets, but I wouldn't be going that far. Frank's got runs on the board in
Buckets
terms of
has made
premierships.
mistakes.
Yeah, well, we've all done that. But at the same time, look, I think they probably are. To your point about a clean out, I think Jason Ryles is looking to put a complete broom through the place in terms of the support staff. But I don't think Buckets will be touched because at the moment the chairman and the CEO rely on him for everything in relation to any of the NRL decisions.
Well, they haven't done very well this year, as you know, and they've made a lot of recruitment blunders, and I think they need to be looking at that area of the football club.
Yeah, that's fair.
That they do.
Can't argue.
All right, well, from one club struggling to another, the Newcastle Knights. What's happening with them and Adam O'Brien, Buzz?
Well, I had some calls over the weekend after their loss to, did they get beaten by the Broncos? And the week before they were beaten by Manly. They've conceded 74 points. Now, behind the scenes, the new recruitment guy, Peter O'Sullivan, is tapping players on the shoulder and saying, look, go and try your luck somewhere else. What this has done, it's formed a disgruntled player group, and I don't think they're putting in to the best of their ability from what I've seen in recent weeks. And the players...
What do you mean disgruntled?
Well, the players are, I'm told, have turned on the coach a little bit, Adam O'Brien, that he hasn't had more to say in the recruitment area.
But didn't they buy Peter Parr with all that experience?
Yeah, but
a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Peter Parr's running the footy club, and Peter O'Sullivan's doing retention and recruitment. But if you go to any organisation, you're still live in the finals. 2 weeks ago, you tap half a dozen players and say, "Look, we're not sure we got."
It's not going to go down well.
It's not. And you know what they do?
Because a lot of those players are senior players too, right?
And then they blame the coach. And I'm not for 1 minute suggesting Adam O'Brien's job's under pressure. What I am saying is the dressing room's a little bit off him at the moment because he cops the blame for this.
Were those players getting the job done, in your opinion?
Up until 2 weeks ago, they were in the finals race. The last 2 weeks would indicate, no, they won't play finals this year. So they haven't got the job done.
So you think that's coincided with...
But it's natural, Gordy. Any employee in any business, if the boss comes up to you and says, we don't want you next year, how are you going to feel?
They're in a jam though, Buzz, because the club management decided last year to give Adam O'Brien a 3-year extension. So even if there are rumblings in the dressing room and there are some players disgruntled, it's going to be a hard-line decision for them. I mean, the thing I find interesting, until they went on the 10-game streak last year, they were still talking to other coaches about coming in for this year when they'd won the opening 3 games of that 10-game streak. They met with Madge Maguire, they met with Des Hasler, they met with Justin Holbrook. Ultimately, the run that they went on and Kalen Ponga's Dally M medal form saved Adam O'Brien's job and got him another 3 seasons. But you can't hide from some of the recruitment calls they've made. Like Mitch Barnett has left there and is now playing State of Origin. Connor Watson's in the same boat. Jacob Kiraz has gone to the Bulldogs, absolutely flying, one of the most consistent wingers in the competition. Dom Young, an international.
They let Mitchell Pearce go a year early over to France as well. You know, it's concerning. They don't look like they're playing, for Adam, do they?
No, mate, but that's why you've got to move those players on. And if it was Wayne Bennett moving the players on, if it was Craig Belly moving the players on. But if Saifidi's on 800, right? Front row, good front row, former state player. St George might take him, but they'll give him 5. Yep. So Newcastle have to throw in 3. Well, then they have to find another front row to replace him. It's very, very messy up there.
The other thing I find strange up there is leadership group. So they had an 8-player leadership group, which seems a hell of a lot of players for a leadership group to me. Well, today it's been extended to 10. They've added another couple of players.
It's only a whole team.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 30-year roster. It's
Why
a 30.
Don't you name the 7 that aren't on it? It'd be easy.
30 top 30.
Is that serious?
Yeah, 100%. And
10 senior players.
The other thing is that of that leadership group, 3 of those players have now been tapped on the shoulder. So to Buzz's point from earlier, you can see why
sounds like a mess.
There are starting to be some rumblings out of the joint because of the setup.
That does sound like a mess. I don't know how.
And they're playing like a Braith. 74 points, 2 games, a team in contention for the finals.
Yeah, it's only sort of happened the last few weeks, hasn't it, really,
Yes.
since...
Have you ever heard of that before, Gordy? A 10-player leadership group?
I think we had 4.
Will
4.
you win it?
Yeah. No, not early. It was.
No, you've got to earn the right.
I think it was Lazo, Kevy, Alf, and Steve Renouf, and then it just moved. Yeah. So like, it's got to be your top line players, the guys that get the job done every week, because they're the ones that help.
It'd be hard having a leadership group with guys
10?
that'll leave them too, though. Oh, 10's ridiculous. But if 3 of them are got the tap,
You
like
can only
you're sitting
ever
in there
have one
having a
leader.
genuine talk about the team.
There's only ever one leader. There's only one person that you follow and one person you listen to on the field.
But again, it's who do you blame for this? We just spoke about the Parramatta, inner circle and the people running their cap. Who left the cap in the position like this?
Who did? I don't know. Who did?
Who was their previous?
Well, it's a combination soup, isn't it? Certainly Clint Zammett, he was the boss of recruitment there, wasn't he? Yeah. I think they've moved on another recruitment bloke today as well, Adam Doyle. They've parted ways with him today as well.
It's really unsteady up there at the moment. Really unsteady.
Big mess to clean up.